Your person's friend just saw your picture. And they said, "My dear child, if you believe in angels, start this video and watch it completely." Archangel Michael says this is not a joke. Don't ignore this. This is a very serious message for you. Your person's friend just saw your picture, and they said something that changed everything. You have no idea what just happened in the spiritual realm. Everything shifted in one single moment. Everything that was hidden is now being dragged into the light. Michael was there. He heard it. And now he is weeping not because he's angry with you, but because he knows this moment was bound to come, the moment when someone else sees the truth you carry, before you even saw it in yourself. The moment when the truth about you can no longer be hidden no matter how much darkness has tried to shut your voice. This message is not about someone else. This message is about you and what heaven has been trying to protect. And now that your person's friend saw that photo, the one they weren't even meant to see, it began a reaction so massive that even the angels turned and said, "It's begun." Listen closely. You are not reading this by accident. You're not here just because you're curious or confused. You are reading this because you were summoned by divine timing. Because what was said when they looked at your picture will soon come to you like lightning. And if you ignore it, you will regret it. If you deny it, it will still chase you down, because this message is sealed with fire from God's throne. Michael is standing behind you. His sword is drawn. His wings are your person's friend just saw your picture. And they said, "My dear child, if you believe in angels, start this video and watch it completely." Archangel Michael says this is not a joke. Don't ignore this. This is a very serious message for you. Your person's friend just saw your picture, and they said something that changed everything. You have no idea what just happened in the spiritual realm. Everything shifted in one single moment. Everything that was hidden is now being dragged into the light. Michael was there. He heard it. And now he is weeping not because he's angry with you, but because he knows this moment was bound to come, the moment when someone else sees the truth you carry, before you even saw it in yourself. The moment when the truth about you can no longer be hidden no matter how much darkness has tried to shut your voice. This message is not about someone else. This message is about you and what heaven has been trying to protect. And now that your person's friend saw that photo, the one they weren't even meant to see, it began a reaction so massive that even the angels turned and said, "It's begun." Listen closely. You are not reading this by accident. You're not here just because you're curious or confused. You are reading this because you were summoned by divine timing. Because what was said when they looked at your picture will soon come to you like lightning. And if you ignore it, you will regret it. If you deny it, it will still chase you down, because this message is sealed with fire from God's throne. Michael is standing behind you. His sword is drawn. His wings are spread. And he is whispering your name with urgency. This friend, the one who saw your picture, respread. And he is whispering your name with urgency. This friend, the one who saw your picture, they are not just a stranger. They are someone who carries power, influence, prophetic ability. They didn't know why they saw your image. They didn't even want to ask too many questions when your person brought you up. But the moment their eyes caught your face, they went silent. Then they said something that left your person shaken. They said, "That one. That's the one. The one heaven marked. The one I saw in my dream. The one who's been anointed for something unimaginable." Your person froze. They didn't understand what their friend meant. But you need to know, this friend is not just any friend. They are spiritually sharp. They've seen visions. They've had dreams that came true. They've spoken things that happened days later. They aren't perfect, but God uses them. And when they saw your face, something in the spiritual realm burst open. It was like a seal tore. And the truth that has been hidden from your person, maybe for years, suddenly began to rise. This friend told your person that your face looked familiar. Not because of this world, but because they saw it in a vision. And in that vision, you were crying. You were kneeling. You were surrounded by fire, but you weren't burning. You were untouched. The flames tried to touch you, but something unseen kept you safe. And beside you stood a tall figure with wings. Michael. They didn't know his name in the vision, but they saw him raise his hand and point at you. They saw him speak words in a language they couldn't understand. But in the vision, they knew this. You were chosen. Marked. Hidden. Protected. And severely fought against. So when they saw your picture, not in a dream, but in real life, they trembled. Their spirit remembered what they'd seen. And their mouth said, "This is serious. Don't you dare hurt this person. If you do, heaven will respond." Your person thought it was an exaggeration. At first. But they couldn't sleep that night. Because the more they looked at your face, the more they remembered the way they felt when they first saw you. That strange connection. That indescribable energy. That feeling that they couldn't look away. That feeling that this is different. Now it makes sense. God allowed their friend to see that vision not randomly, but because you were in danger. Yes, you. You have been walking unaware of how targeted you've been. You've been thinking everything was just bad luck or random delay or broken hearts and fake friends, but number. You've been surrounded by spiritual sabotage. But not because you're cursed. Because you're consecrated. They've tried to block this message from reaching you. Even now, distractions might try to pull you away. But God says you must keep reading. What was said when your person's friend saw you has started something irreversible. And you must know the truth before it's too late. Michael says you were hidden for a reason. You were blocked for a season. You were misunderstood, misjudged, mocked, and delayed, but not denied. You are the one who carries something heaven designed specifically for this generation. And that's why you've been fought so hard. Do you even know who you are? Do you even understand what God placed inside you? Because the demons do. That's why they've tried to exhaust you. That's why people have walked away from you for no reason. That's why they gossiped about you and didn't even know the full story. Because the moment your light started flickering, the enemy panicked. They thought if they dimmed you early enough, you'd never discover your assignment. But heaven never stopped watching. Michael never left your side. And now, because one picture was shown to one person, everything is exposed. This friend told your person that if they walk away from you now, they'll miss the greatest move of God they've ever seen. They told your person that you are holding the key to something they've been praying about secretly. That you are the missing piece they didn't know they were looking for. And now that the truth has surfaced, it cannot be buried again. God says, you've felt unseen, but heaven has always seen you. You've cried alone, but your tears were collected in golden bowls. You've felt forgotten, but Michael has never stopped guarding your name. Now comes the turning, the shifting, the exposing, the correcting. Because heaven is tired of watching you suffer in silence. Tired of watching others misuse your love. Tired of watching your value be ignored. So heaven stepped in. And it took just one picture. That friend has now become an unexpected messenger. They are beginning to intercede for you. They can feel the spiritual battle around you. They can feel the weight of your destiny. They are praying, even as you read this. Because they know something is coming, fast. And your person is being given one final opportunity to choose wisely. Will they run toward the truth or hide from it again? Michael says they are being watched from heaven. Not to be punished, but to be corrected. They were blind. But now the veil is tearing. Their heart is being stirred. They are feeling emotions they buried. Memories are returning. They are feeling pulled toward you, and they don't understand why. But you must not chase them. You must not force it. You must not beg for what is already written. Your job now is to rise. Not in pride, but in purity. Not in noise, but in knowing. You must rise with confidence that if God let your image be seen at this exact moment, it's because the time has come. No more hiding. No more shrinking. No more waiting for others to confirm what heaven already crowned you with. You are not just someone's person. You are a chosen one. The one who carries oil. The one who walks through fire and still loves. The one who gives even when your heart is broken. And now you are being recognized, not by your outer image, but by your spiritual DNA. That picture was more than a photo. It was a spiritual trigger. It was an unveiling. And now that your person's friend has spoken, all of heaven has moved. This is why Michael is shouting with urgency. Because you must prepare. Something is coming. A message. A conversation. An apology. A return. But more than all of that, a revelation. You will hear something soon, words you weren't expecting. Truth that will shock you. And you must not be afraid. This is the moment you were born for. This is the season when the lies fall apart. This is the time when God says, enough. Your name is being spoken in rooms you've never entered. Your picture is being passed to people who are praying. Not stalking. Not gossiping. But praying. This is divine setup, not demonic drama. Your person's friend has become a prophet for this hour. Not to control, but to confirm. And your person is now facing a holy dilemma. Will they pretend it was just a coincidence? Or will they bow to what they know in their spirit, that you are not ordinary? If you'd like to donate or show your appreciation, you can give a super thanks up to $100. Archangel Michael says, be still, but be ready. Don't retaliate. Don't post anything vague on social media. Don't let the enemy bait you into reaction. Remain in silence, but stay spiritually alert. Because a door is opening and it will come without warning, you may suddenly feel a push to go somewhere. A pull to pray longer. A heaviness that brings tears for no reason. That is Michael preparing you. Because when the conversation happens, when your person finally comes forward and admits what they felt, what they heard, what they were told, you must be spiritually mature enough to listen, not judge. This is about something far greater than romance. This is about legacy. Purpose. The alignment of souls that were always meant to rise together, not fall apart. The enemy is furious. They didn't want this moment to come. They didn't want your person to ever see you clearly. They wanted you to remain buried under lies and delays and false distractions. But heaven overruled them. And now your image, the one you may not even like, has become a divine key. Everything is changing now. And if you don't prepare, you may miss what you were born for. God says, I've watched you suffer long enough. I've watched you wonder if they saw you, heard you, felt you. And now you know, they did. They do. But it took someone else saying it to break the chains. You are about to be seen. And not by many, but by the right ones. You are about to be called. And not for your body, but for your being. You are about to be invited, not into a date, but into destiny. And the next time someone sees your picture, they will tremble too. Because heaven is now marking you publicly. You are no longer hidden. Michael says, say yes to your calling. Say yes to the oil on your life. Say yes to the truth you were afraid to face. The picture has spoken. Now, it's your turn to rise. God says, tell them the wait is over. This was the sign you were asking for. Now move accordingly. Because nothing will ever be the same again. My child, the time for pretending is over. The time for silence is over. The truth has been echoing in the heavenly realm, waiting for you to finally say, I am ready to hear it. And now that moment is here. You can no longer ignore the feeling in your chest every time this person comes near. You can no longer ignore the way your energy shifts when they speak your name. Something in your spirit already knows that what I am saying is true. You are not imagining it. You are not overthinking. You are being divinely alerted. This confession wasn't whispered by accident. It was provoked by the hand of justice. I made their lips loosen. I made their heart overflow so they could no longer keep in what they carried. What they said was foul, my child. It was rooted in jealousy and fear. They saw your light, and instead of celebrating it, they cursed it. They saw the love others had for you, and they resented it. They saw how I favored you in secret places, and they hated it. So they confessed something they hoped would destroy you from the inside out. But they didn't know you were divinely protected. They didn't know that every accusation spoken against you would be weighed on scales that I hold in my own hands. They didn't know that the confession they made in darkness would become the very spotlight that exposes what they've done. Archangel Michael has been weeping not just because of what they said, but because of how much you trusted them. You gave them access to your soul. You opened your doors to them, not knowing they had already opened their mouth against you. That betrayal, that sacred wound, is what Michael is mourning. Because he saw every moment you smiled in their presence, unaware of the dagger behind their back. But that dagger cannot pierce you now. The truth is rising like the morning sun, and no matter how much they try to cover it with clouds of denial, it will shine. I allowed this to come to the surface now because you are finally strong enough to see it and not shatter. You are finally wise enough to hear it and not spiral. You are finally aware enough to feel it and not drown in the emotions it brings. I have been preparing you for this moment long before you ever suspected it was coming. That's why so many things started to fall away recently. That's why some people began to leave without reason. That's why certain blessings were delayed, not denied, but held back for your protection until the truth could be unveiled. This person, the one who made the confession, was once close. They may still pretend to be, but their spirit has already detached from yours. They've been creating a spiritual gap between you, hoping you wouldn't notice. But your soul noticed. That's why your dreams have changed. That's why your peace has been disrupted. They have released words into the air that carried poison. They thought no one heard. But Michael heard. He heard every sentence, every mocking tone, every lie disguised as concern. And he cried. Not because he was helpless, Michael is never helpless. But because he saw how deeply it would wound you when you finally found out. Because even the strongest warriors cry when their loved ones are targeted. My child, he has loved you long before you knew his name. He stood by your cradle when you were born. He stood by your bedside when you wept. He stood at the gates of danger when others tried to harm you. And now he stands again with the scroll of truth in his hands, waiting for you to stop skipping his message. Waiting for you to look him in the eyes and say, I'm ready. Because when you are, he will reveal what was said. He will hand you the divine evidence that sets you free. He will place in your hands a heavenly testimony that overrules every false accusation ever spoken about you. You must understand something deeper now. This is not just about one confession. This is about the spiritual pattern that confession activated. Their words became permission for others to judge you. Their lies gave fuel to people who already envied you. Their deception opened doors of delay and confusion, but only for a moment. Because I, the Lord your God, do not sleep. I watched every conversation that followed their confession. I watched how people changed toward you after they believed what was said. I watched how opportunities vanished because your name was brought up with suspicion. But I let it happen for a season so that when I restore you, No one can take credit but me. And now that restoration is near. But first, the confession must be heard. You must know what was said. You must know who repeated it. You must know what spirit was operating through them, because it wasn't just human jealousy, my child. It was a spirit of sabotage and to dismantle your divine timeline. But it failed. Because you are chosen. And when someone touches my anointed, I do not remain silent. This is the moment of reversal. This is the moment where the pain becomes purpose. Where the betrayal becomes the bridge to a greater destiny. Michael is still crying. Even now. Because he is watching you read this, hoping you will not run from the truth. Hoping you won't minimize it. Hoping you won't think, maybe it's not about me. My child, it is about you. This message did not find you by accident. This timing is not random. There are no coincidences in the realm of the divine. When Michael cries, heaven listens. And right now, heaven is leaning in, waiting to see what you will do with this revelation. You may be tempted to confront them. Don't, not yet. Let me guide you first. Let me reveal the rest in dreams, in divine timing. You don't need to act in anger. You don't need to seek revenge. I am already dealing with them. Their confession has started a chain reaction in the spirit that cannot be undone. What they planted, they will reap. What they tried to break in you, I will strengthen 7 times over. And those who believe their lies will come back to you in tears, realizing they were wrong. You are not alone in this. Every angel assigned to your destiny is now activated. Michael leads them with authority. There is movement in your favor even now. Things are shifting that you cannot see. Conversations are happening behind closed doors, spiritual doors, where your name is being defended. Where your reputation is being restored. Where what was spoken against you is being overturned. But you must walk with me now. You must listen. You must allow Michael to do what he was sent to do. He is not just your protector. He is your messenger. And he is tired of being skipped. His tears are sacred, and I will not allow them to fall in vain. You must honor his presence now. You must let his message enter you fully without resistance. Because in this message is not just warning, it is direction. It is the road map to your next level. It is the clarity you've been crying out for. It is the explanation for the silence you've felt from me. It's not that I wasn't speaking. It's that you weren't opening. But you are opening now. And that opening is the beginning of a flood of revelation, healing and divine justice. You are not crazy for sensing something was wrong. You were not overreacting. You were under attack by words you never heard, until now. But I am silencing every voice that rose up against you. I am silencing the whispers. I am dismantling the spiritual traps set by their confessions. And I am placing a new authority on your life. One that will cause even your enemies to tremble. One that will cause those who lied about you to stutter when they see your elevation. This is not just about vindication. This is about acceleration. What was stolen will be returned with interest. What was delayed will arrive with power. What was broken will be rebuilt stronger than ever. But you must not skip this moment. You must not ignore the trembling in your soul. That trembling is me. That shaking is heaven. That stillness that follows is your new beginning arriving like the hush before a miracle. Archangel Michael is no longer crying in despair. His tears are changing now. They are becoming tears of release. Because he sees that you are finally listening. He sees that your heart is shifting. He sees that you are ready. Ready to know. Ready to rise. Ready to see who truly walks with you and who was only ever pretending. And when the truth fully hits your spirit, when the confession echoes in your dreams and reveals every shadow, you will understand why this had to happen. You will bless this breaking. You will thank me for the exposure. Because it saved you. It realigned you. It reawakened you. And it brought you back to me. My child, do not let the familiarity of their presence blind you. Sometimes the most dangerous deceptions are not born from enemies in the distance, but from those who sit closest to you, wear the face of care, and know the secrets of your soul. This person, the one who made the confession, was not just anyone. Archangel Michael says this is not a joke. You need to understand that what is being said here isn't something you can afford to scroll past. This is not just another word. It is a divine interruption. A message delivered from the throne of God Himself, meant for you in this exact moment of your life. You may not fully understand yet what's unfolding behind the scenes, but you will. And when you do, it will all make sense. Your spirit has already been stirred, and now your soul is being summoned. Heaven has something to show you, and Archangel Michael has been assigned to deliver it. This is very serious. A spiritual door just opened and what entered through it was not random. Your person's friend just saw your picture. Yes, the one you thought no one was thinking about anymore. The moment your face entered their view, something spiritual ignited inside them. They didn't just look at your image. They saw something that cannot be unseen. Something that opened their eyes to a truth that has been hidden, buried, silenced, delayed, until now. And what they said changed everything. God says, stop trying to reason it away. Stop trying to be logical about a spiritual event. There is a reason this person, someone connected to your person, has been divinely nudged to see you right now. There is a reason their eyes locked on your image. The world will call it coincidence. But I call it destiny. There was a divine pull, a whisper from heaven, a silent force that moved in the atmosphere to ensure your face would be seen at that exact second. Do not dismiss this. They said something about you. Something that echoed so loudly in the spirit realm that heaven stopped. They didn't just comment on your looks. They didn't just say a word of curiosity. What they said opened up a locked spiritual gate. They looked at your picture and said, "Why are you hiding this person? Why haven't you told the truth about them?" That one sentence hit your person's heart like lightning. They froze. They didn't know how to respond. Because it was true. They have been hiding something. They have been sitting on a truth that was meant to be revealed. They have been withholding something heaven demanded they share. And now the angels are involved. Because Archangel Michael says you must be told that your picture was the key. It wasn't just any photo. It carried weight. It carried light. It carried an anointing on your face that made something click in the spirit of the one who saw it. They felt power behind it. They felt the heaviness of your destiny and the urgency that they could not explain. They asked questions your person wasn't ready to answer. And God says the time for hiding is over. God says you must hear me now. You have been lied to, not because you were undeserving of the truth, but because others were afraid of your light. They feared what would happen if your presence was acknowledged openly. They feared that your voice would awaken something uncontrollable. They feared that your connection to your person would become undeniable and the plans they had made in secret would crumble. And now those secret plans are crumbling. Because the friend, unexpected, innocent in their intention, was chosen by heaven to trigger the exposure. They were not just another person. They were the one I selected to say what your person refused to say. And now that the words have been spoken, the atmosphere has shifted. There's no going back. Your person is under spiritual pressure. Not from man, but from me. The pressure to come clean. The pressure to stop delaying. The pressure to honor what I put in their heart before they let fear rule their actions. Archangel Michael says, you have been too patient. You have cried enough nights over things you didn't even have answers to. You felt the energy shift. You felt the distance. You felt the change in tone. And yet you stayed loyal in spirit. You prayed for them. You wished them well. You protected their name. Even when it hurt. Even when it didn't make sense. And now your reward begins. Because I, the Lord your God, do not overlook such love. I do not let loyalty go unnoticed. I do not forget the prayers that left your lips when no one was watching. This person's friend spoke truth. And it pierced. And now your person is being spiritually cornered, not in punishment, but in divine prompting. They are being shaken from the inside. Everything they tried to bury is coming up. Everything they swore they would never reveal is screaming to come out. The lie can no longer survive. The silence can no longer continue. Your picture brought light. Your face carried something heavenly. That was not just a moment. It was the beginning of a major unraveling. God says, you are not to worry. You are not to fear the outcome. You are not to question if you're safe, if you're protected, if you're covered. Because you are. Rest assured, my child, nothing will go wrong with you. You are shielded. You are guarded. The enemy tried to twist this. The enemy tried to make this backfire. But I reversed it. I turned what was meant to confuse into what now exposes truth. The friend who saw your photo will not forget what they felt. It will haunt your person until they confess. This is the hour of truth. It will start slow, but it will grow. One word here. A confession there. A late-night call. A sudden message. A restless heart that can no longer pretend that you are not significant. You are not a maybe. You are not a side chapter. You are the key part of this story that has been shut out for too long. And the gates of heaven are now unlocking every door that was sealed out of fear, out of pride, out of manipulation. God says, you must prepare. Not for pain, but for revelation. The kind that brings closure. The kind that brings clarity. The kind that silences your torment. I am not a God of confusion. I am a God of divine order. And I am restoring order in your life right now. I will show you why things had to be delayed. I will show you what was happening behind the scenes. I will reveal who stood against you and why they tried to block the connection. But more than anything, I will show you that I have always been for you. This situation is not an accident. That friend's eyes were opened by my spirit. That picture was not shown by mistake. And that statement, that simple sentence, was not just a comment. It was a key. It unlocked something spiritual in your person that had been frozen. Emotions buried deep are being stirred again. Memories they tried to silence are now screaming. Dreams they ran from are chasing them down. Because heaven has decided, no more hiding. Archangel Michael says, don't ignore this moment. Your name is echoing in places you don't even know. People are speaking your name not to mock you, but because they're drawn to you. Some of them don't even understand why they feel the need to talk about you. Search for you. Check on you. But it's spiritual. You are being pulled into the spotlight of divine timing. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. Your name has reached heaven, and now it's reaching those who once turned their backs. Your person cannot escape this moment. It is growing louder every day. The weight of your absence is becoming unbearable. Their friend did more than speak. They triggered a divine chain reaction. Heaven is using that sentence as a sword. It cuts through the lies. It cuts through the fear. It cuts through the spiritual blockages. And you, yes, you, will see justice. God says, be still. I am handling this. I am already talking to the hearts of those involved. I am orchestrating situations that will push truth to the surface. What was hidden is being forced into the light. And you will not have to beg for answers. You will not have to chase clarity. It is coming to you. Not in broken fragments, but in whole confessions. The kind that heal. The kind that set your spirit free. And when it happens, you will feel a weight lift off your chest. You will cry tears not of confusion, but of release. The chains around your heart will break. Because what has kept you bound wasn't just silence. It was the spiritual fog of someone else's fear. And that fog is now clearing. The sun is rising. The veil is being removed. The words you deserve to hear are coming. Not because you forced them, but because God said now is the time. Your faith has not been wasted. Your love was not foolish. Your loyalty was not a mistake. It was divine. You stayed when you could have walked. You prayed when you could have.